I opened up Blender, just go click to start the scene, delete that cube. Going to File, import an FBX that was just exported from Maya. I'm not going to move the head or do anything to it because I just want to be able to have this neutral one to export out. I'm not going to do anything with this head because this is the perfect neutral version of the face that will be imported back into Maya. I'll clone this several times and create the expressions on those new heads. Start with apply under object properties, apply the wireframe so we could just look at the mesh structure. I'm then selecting this model and pressing Shift D to duplicate it and holding down the X key as I drag it away. I'll press Shift D again and hold down the X key and drag it over, then let go and just click to release. Before I start modeling, I'm going to select each head and give it a name. Double click here. This could be head happy, and maybe this is head angry. I'm going to click on this first one, jump to sculpt mode. You don't want Dino Topo on because we have to maintain the same vertex count and structure. This stage is about adjusting the model for what you have already created. If you needed more detail, do it on the original one first before duplicating. Select the grab tool and then press the F key to increase the brush size and Shift F if you want to increase or decrease the strength. So after you click F or Shift F, drag your mouse left and right, and then when you're happy with the value, left click. Symmetry is on, and you can gently yank up the vertices around the mouth, creating a smile. You can increase the cheek size, press the F key, and then drag the brush left and right. When you get the size you want, just left click. Maybe we'll pull the cheeks up a little bit. Remember to work in 3 dimensions, so look at it from the front view. Here's the original, here's the happier version. Repeat this process for each blend shape target. This is going to be the angry one. Selecting the character, going to sculpt mode, making the brush smaller. If you need to do something unsymmetrical, just turn off symmetry. And you can turn it back on as needed. When you're done, export the FBX models back to Maya. You could do it one at a time or all of them at once. I'm going to select all 3. File, Export, FBX, and select Selected Objects. And I'll call this Head Blend Shapes. Export FBX. And now go back to Maya. I'm going to delete this original head. It's going to be replaced by the one imported from Blender. File, Import. Selecting the head blend shapes that just came from Blender. Here are the 3 blend shapes. When you import them, you might notice a difference in the texturing. So investigate this by selecting the head and then clicking on the original, in this case, the body, And you could do a comparison, what is causing this change. If you look at the reflected color, right now it's white on the imported heads, and on the body it's down to black all the way on the other side. So selecting this lever and just dragging it back down will bring the color back. And you can keep on doing comparisons just to realign the exported FBX from Blender to what is happening in Maya. Now to create the blend shapes, select the first head, head angry, select the second head by holding down the shift key, head happy, and select the third head, which is the original one, go to deform, blend shape. Open up the shape editor, which is under Windows, Animation Editors, Shape Editor. And you can try toggling. And happy works out well. So I know to go back to Blender to go fix angry, and I would repeat this process until I get all the heads and expressions I'm looking for, and then you're ready to go forward and animate the character. Animate the blend shapes. Go to frame 0. I'm leaving the original blend shape blending at 1. Head angry is pulled down to 0, and head happy is pulled down to 0. At frame 0, I'll put my first key in for head happy. Then I'll go 10 frames later. You don't have to go 100% of happiness. You could be a little lower. Take 4. You can leave it a little lower. This way you can have your character do a kind of small smirk as they're talking, or a big grin if that best expresses the moment. I'll go a few frames later, such as frame 20, and I could pull this down. So now the character knows how to smile for a moment and go back down. Starting at frame 20, so place a keyframe there. Going to frame 30. Yeah, she does look a little upset. To put it all back together, because you want the character to move, I'll unhide the skeleton. I'll move the skeleton to within the body. Turn on shading, X-ray joints. Take a look around to see if the joints fit within the body. I'll select these two ankle joints and push them back into the foot. I'm going to select the face, shift click anywhere else on the body. So those are two different elements selected. Then shift click at the root of this joint system right there. Go to rigging, skin, bind, skin. I'll rotate the arm downward. And I can see that this arm is now influencing up here, and that's painting skin cluster weights. I'll select the head, and this is the left upper arm. Right click on the head, go to paint, skin cluster, paint weights. Double click this icon right here to open up the tool set. This shows all the bones that have influence on the face. I'm looking for the right and left upper arms because both of these should have no influence. For value 0, I'll select the left upper arm first, zoom in, and paint. Since this arm should have no influence on here, another option is to flood the area using this button, and that removes all the influence of this bone on these vertices.